When tech billionaire Elon Musk receives a tearful 3 a.m. call from his ex-wife about their daughter Nova, he drops everything to rush to her aid. What starts as a desperate cross-country flight soon escalates into a high-stakes confrontation with a dangerous tech cult harboring sinister plans for his brilliant 10-year-old daughter. But the most shocking revelation isn't the experimental consciousness transfer technology or their heavily guarded desert base. As Elon fights to save his daughter from a mad scientist's dangerous machine, he uncovers the real reason behind that night's cry, a truth that will forever change his life. Elon Musk was in the deepest stage of sleep when a shrill ringtone sliced through the darkness like a blade. His eyes snapped open, though his mind remained clouded by sleep. For a moment, he didn't know where he was. The minimalist bedroom of his Texas home slowly came into focus, no windows, just sleek walls and the faint glow of blue light from his phone. That sound again. His phone was ringing. He fumbled for the nightstand, knocking over a glass of water. Cold liquid splashed onto his hand as he grabbed the still ringing device. The screen displayed 3 a.m., and below it, a name he hadn't seen on his phone in months, Tara. His ex-wife. Elon sat up, instantly alert. Tara never called him, especially not in the middle of the night. They communicated through assistants and lawyers, occasionally via brief, polite texts about Nova, but never calls, certainly not at 3 a.m. Something was wrong. He swiped to answer. Tara, he said, his voice rough from sleep. The sound coming through the phone wasn't words, it was sobbing, deep and ragged, the kind that twisted his gut. Tara, what's wrong? He stood, pacing barefoot on the cold floor. Her voice broke through the tears, barely able to form words between sobs. Elon, I need help. Are you hurt? Is someone there? Scenarios raced through his mind, each worse than the last. It's about Nova. Those 3 words hit him like a physical blow. Nova, their brilliant, curious, big-hearted daughter. At 10 years old, she was already building robots and asking questions about Mars that even his engineers struggled to answer. What could have happened to Nova? He was already moving, grabbing pants from a chair by the bed, balancing the phone between his ear and shoulder. Tara's voice cut off abruptly. Tara. Elon stared at the screen, the call had ended. He immediately tried calling back. Straight to voicemail. He tried again. Same result. A third time. Nothing. His hands were shaking now. He pulled a shirt over his head and shoved his feet into sneakers, skipping socks. Nova. Something had happened to Nova. Elon dialed his assistant, Riley, who answered on the second ring despite the early hour. Sir. I need a plane. Now. Fastest route to Austin. He strode quickly to his home office, flipping on lights as he went. Is everything okay, sir? Riley's voice was instantly alert, no trace of sleep. I don't know. Tara just called me, crying about Nova. Then the call dropped, and now she's not answering. He tried to keep panic out of his voice, but it was there, making his words come too fast, too sharp. I'll have the plane ready in 20 minutes. A car will be at your house in 5. Make it faster. Elon tossed items into a backpack, charger, tablet, wallet. He dialed Tara again. Voicemail. He tried Nova's phone, the special purple one he'd given her for her last birthday, with a space-themed case. It went straight to voicemail too. Hey, Nova Star, it's Dad. Call me back right away, okay? It's really important. Horrible images flooded his mind, Nova hurt, Nova scared, Nova in danger. Each thought was a jolt of fear. Elon glanced around his large, empty house, all clean lines and expensive minimalism, and felt utterly powerless. With all his billions, his companies, his rockets, and his fancy cars, he couldn't reach his daughter when she might need him most. He tried calling Tara's neighbors, but they didn't answer either. It was the middle of the night, after all. A car was waiting when he ran outside, the driver holding the door open. Elon barely noticed him, still trying to call Tara. Over and over. As the car sped toward the private airfield, memories of Nova flooded his mind, her tiny face the day she was born, red, angry, and perfect, her first steps. He taught her how rockets worked, her eyes wide with wonder. The way she looked on the days he picked her up for their shared weekends, excited but cautious, as if afraid to show how happy she was to see him. Had he let her down? Had his work pulled him away when she needed him? He hadn't seen her enough, he knew that. The divorce from Tara had been messy, and afterward, he'd buried himself in his companies even more than before. Sometimes weeks passed when his only contact with Nova was through video calls, brief, distracted calls where he often multitasked, checking emails while she told him about school. The private jet was humming and ready when the car pulled up to the airfield. Two pilots stood hunched by the steps. Riley, as always, had come through. How long to Austin? Elon asked the captain as he climbed the stairs. 2 hours and 10 minutes with a good tailwind, sir. Too long. Far too long. As the plane taxied down the runway, Elon called every hospital in Austin. None had records of a child named Nova Musk being admitted. He contacted the Austin police, but without evidence of immediate danger, they offered no help. We'll look into it. The jet lifted into the dark sky, and Elon stared out the window at the shrinking lights below. He had never felt so powerless in his life, not when his companies nearly went bankrupt, not during the worst days of public criticism. Nothing compared to this. This dreadful, helpless waiting, while somewhere, for some reason, his daughter's mother had called him, sobbing in the night. The sleek private jet sliced through the darkness, carrying him toward whatever awaited in Austin. For 2 hours that felt like an eternity, Elon closed his eyes, clutching his silent phone like a lifeline, and did something he hadn't done in years. He prayed, not to any specific god, just a desperate plea sent into the universe: keep Nova safe. Let her be okay. The jet engines hummed steadily as they reached cruising altitude. Elon checked his phone again, no messages from Tara. He tried her number, what felt like the 100th time. Straight to voicemail. Tara, please call me back as soon as you get this. I'm on my way to Austin. I'll be there in less than 2 hours. Just tell me Nova's okay. He hung up and stared at his phone's wallpaper, a photo of Nova from last summer. She stood next to a small robot she'd built herself, her smile wide and toothy, her dark curly hair pulled into 2 fluffy pigtails. She had Tara's hair and his determination. A flight attendant offered him coffee. He took it without looking at her, his mind miles away, running through every terrible possibility. Sir, do you need anything else? The attendant asked, concern in her voice. Elon looked up, snapping back to the present. Get in touch with my head of security. Tell him to meet me at Tara's house as soon as possible. As the attendant hurried off, Elon pulled out his tablet and opened a tracking app he'd installed on Nova's phone, for emergencies only, he'd promised Tara. This certainly qualified. The app showed Nova's last location as Tara's house, but the signal was offline. Either her phone was off, or the battery had died. His coffee grew cold as he stared at the map, willing the little purple dot marking Nova to reappear. When that failed, he opened his email and sent a message to his assistant, Riley, I need info on all hospitals in the Austin area. Also, check Nova's school for recent incidents, absences, anything. Contact Nova's doctor too, see if Tara's been acting unusual lately. Check social media, credit card purchases, anything out of the ordinary. As he waited for a reply, his thoughts drifted to the last time he'd seen Nova, 3 weeks ago. He'd taken her to the SpaceX factory, shown her a new rocket design. Her eyes had lit up as she asked question after question, how the engines worked, how astronauts would live inside, how long it would take to reach Mars. I want to be the first kid on Mars, she had told him, her chin lifted with the same determination he recognized in himself. Maybe you will be, he'd replied, meaning it. But now, where was she? Was she scared? In pain? Calling for him? The thought struck him like a physical blow. He had been absent too often, working when he should have been with her, missing school events for last-minute meetings, rescheduling weekends for rocket launches. What if something terrible had happened, and his last real memory of her was showing her the rocket factory instead of just being her dad? His phone buzzed with an email from Riley, checked all major hospitals, no records of Nova or Tara. The school reports Nova's attendance as perfect, no recent incidents. Her doctor hasn't seen her since her last checkup 3 months ago. Tara's social media has been silent for 2 weeks, her last post was about a tech conference in Austin. Credit card shows normal purchases until yesterday, groceries, gas, takeout, nothing unusual. I've arranged a car to meet you at the airfield. Elon read the message twice. Everything seemed fine until yesterday. Then Tara's call at 3 a.m. What had happened in the last 24 hours? He tried calling Nova's favorite babysitter, Jade, but got no answer. It was 3:30 a.m., of course, she didn't pick up. The plane hit a patch of turbulence, jolting slightly. Elon barely noticed, lost in memories of Nova as a baby, so tiny in his arms, with fluffy dark hair and eyes that seemed too wise for a newborn. He remembered her first, dada, the first time she fell asleep on his chest, the way she smelled after a bath. He hadn't been there enough, not nearly enough. If something had happened to her. No, he couldn't think like that. Nova was fine. She had to be. He tried Tara's number again. Voicemail. Nova's phone. Voicemail. Tara's parents. No answer. His frustration grew with each failed call. He was Elon Musk, he ran multi-billion-dollar companies, built rockets that flew to space, and he couldn't reach his own daughter. The pilot's voice came over the intercom, "Mr. Musk, we're beginning our descent into Austin. Weather is clear. Current local time is 4:12 a.m. Elon looked out the window. The sky was still dark, but he could see the faint glow of city lights below. Somewhere down there was Nova, and he would find her, no matter what. The landing gear deployed with a mechanical whine. Elon buckled his seatbelt, his eyes fixed on the approaching city. He pictured Tara's house, a modern 2-story in Nivadi, a quiet neighborhood, with a large oak in the front yard and a treehouse where Nova played. Was Nova there now, safe in her bed, with glow-in-the-dark stars on her ceiling? Or was she somewhere else, somewhere he couldn't find her? The wheels touched down with a screech of rubber on asphalt. Elon unbuckled and stood as the plane taxied to a stop, ignoring the flight attendant's concerned look. As promised, a black SUV waited on the tarmac. Elon hurried down the steps and climbed inside, saying nothing to the driver. Tara Musk's address, he said, before remembering she'd reverted to her maiden name after the divorce. I mean Tara Wilson's house, hurry. As the SUV pulled away from the airfield, Elon tried Tara's number again. The call went to voicemail, as expected, but this time he noticed something. The message had changed. Instead of Tara's usual greeting, it was the default robotic voice, "The subscriber you are trying to reach is unavailable." Her personalized voicemail greeting was gone, a new and unsettling detail. The SUV sped through Austin's empty pre-dawn streets, carrying him toward whatever awaited at Tara's house. Elon clenched his fists on his knees, willing the car to go faster. He would find Nova. He had to. The SUV pulled up to Tara's house just as the sky began to lighten. It was still dark enough for Elon to see that no lights were on in the house. The house stood silent and still, the large oak in the front yard casting long shadows across the pristine lawn. Something felt off. Tara was an early riser, she should have been awake by now, especially after calling him in such distress. Elon jumped out of the car and ran to the front door. He pressed the doorbell, hearing it echo inside. No response. He knocked hard, the sound reverberating through the quiet neighborhood. Tara. Nova, he called, not caring if he woke the neighbors. Still nothing. Elon pulled out his keys. After the divorce, Tara had given him an emergency key, in case Nova needs you and I'm not around. He'd never used it before. The key turned easily in the lock. The alarm didn't beep when he opened the door, it wasn't armed. Another bad sign. Tara always set the alarm. Hello? Tara? Nova? His voice bounced off the walls of the empty entryway. Silence answered. He flipped on the lights. Everything looked normal, almost too normal. The house was spotless, everything in its place. No signs of a struggle or a rushed departure, no broken glass, no overturned furniture. Just empty. Elon moved quickly through the first floor. Elon had already heard of them, an organization that attracts wealthy IT professionals by promising them access to cutting-edge technology that they claim can take human consciousness to a new level. His smartphone buzzed with a message from Reed's team. He immediately checked it and looked up. His expression became tense. The logo on the fridge was the same as the organization's. Elon didn't hesitate, he looked at the browser history on Tara's laptop. Among the things he found was an email that looked extremely disturbing. The subject line read, "Invitation to the Transcendence Ceremony." The date was today. When he opened the email, he felt everything inside him shrink. The message read, "Tara and Nova Wilson. Your presence is required at today's Transcendence Ceremony. Nova has been chosen as the first child carrier for the Great Ascension. Please be there by 10 o'clock. Bring nothing but an open mind and a sincere heart." The destination was Sector 7 of the Desert Zone, about 30 miles east of the city of Austin. The letter ended with the signature, "To a brighter future. Dr. Marcus Venn." Elon checked the time, 5:47 a.m. There were just over 4 hours left before the ceremony. He looked at Reed, "We have to get into this facility. Now." Reed nodded silently and sprang into action, already dialing someone on the phone. "I'll get satellite photos of the area and get my team up there," he said. While Reed was organizing the operation, Elon took a closer look at the strange symbol. A circle with a triangle inside. It seemed to him that he had seen something similar somewhere before, but he couldn't remember where. The rays coming out from the circle resembled a child's drawing of the sun, but all the lines were extremely precise, not chaotic, but clearly defined. Elon immediately took a picture and sent it to his assistant with a short request, "I need any information about this sign and its connection to the Enlightened group." Turning back to his laptop, he turned to Reed, who was still looking through Tara's mail. "What do you know about this group?" Reed answered without looking up from the screen, "It's a so-called cult of technique that was created about 5 years ago. Its founder is Dr. Marcus Venn, a former neuroscientist. He used to have a good reputation until he started claiming to be able to move human consciousness into the digital environment." Reed flipped through the pages that followed. "Their idea is what they call high ascension, digitally uploading the human mind to create an ideal digital society. And it looks like they want to use Nova for this." Ilona felt cold. His curious and extremely bright daughter could be in the hands of these people. "They call her a vessel," Reed commented, pointing to another message in his inbox. "It seems Tara has been in correspondence with them for several months now. It started after she attended a tech conference in February." Elon recalled that event. He was invited to speak, but he refused. It was a rocket launch. Instead, Tara represented her Foundation for Ethics in Artificial Intelligence. "What do they say about the technology?" asked Elon. "They call it a quantum bridge, supposedly a device capable of transferring consciousness from a biological medium to a digital one. But it sounds like science fiction." Elon, with his basic knowledge of neuroscience, was well aware that such a thing was technically impossible. So, what these people are doing is definitely not what they declare. And this made the situation even more alarming. The phone beeped again, a response from Riley. The symbol was confirmed, it was the official sign of the enlightened ones. The circle is a symbol of unity, the triangle is an ascension, and the rays are the spread of knowledge. According to preliminary data, the group consists of about 200 people, mostly wealthy technology investors and engineers. The main base is located in the desert near Austin. The group has been investigated twice through financial reports, but no criminal activity has been found. Their leader, Dr. Venn, used to work at Neuralink Labs, where he was fired for ethical violations during human experimentation. Elon's blood ran cold. Neuralink Labs was his direct competitor in the field of neural interfaces. He remembered an old story. There were rumors about a scientist who wanted to speed up human testing. And now he remembered, 3 years ago, at a scientific conference, he was approached by a tall man with an intrusive look who spoke about the evolution of humanity through brain interfaces. Elon didn't pay much attention at the time, thinking he was just another Silicon Valley dreamer. And now, perhaps, it is this man who is holding Terra and Nova. Reed interrupted his thoughts. "Sir, I have satellite images." He showed the tablet. The images showed a modern complex protected by high walls in the middle of the desert. There are several buildings in the center, with guard posts and cameras around. "It's not going to be easy to get in," Reed said. "The team will be here in 15 minutes. I suggest we wait." This concludes our narrative journey. I trust you found this gripping saga of intrigue, cutting-edge innovation, and astonishing discoveries captivating. From where are you tuning in today? I'm curious to learn which corner of the globe this tale has touched. If this escapade held your interest, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for a steady stream of compelling, mind-expanding stories just like this one. Fresh material is posted frequently, ensuring you're always in the loop for the newest spellbinding adventures. Be sure to pass this video along to your loved ones and friends. It's a great way to share positivity and insight while expanding our circle of story enthusiasts. Your encouragement is invaluable. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to welcoming you back for the next tale.